So I'm finally starting my second vlog for the Howl's Readathon. I think it's the 19th today. I'm not 100% sure on the date, to be honest. It's Sunday. Whatever Sunday is. I was kind of late starting this vlog because I kept meaning to, but then it was just like I was just tired from work, honestly. I started at the grocery store and I've worked every day the past couple days, which is joyful. Yeah, that job already makes me want to crawl into a hole and die, but like it pays, so I'll keep going. As much as I complained about Barnes & Noble, except for all the stuff at the end there with like getting fired and everything and the way they treated us badly, as much as I complained about that job, it was still just like normal complaining. Like, I'm complaining because it's a job and I don't want to work and it sucks, but like, I don't know, grocery stores are bad. This is the second one I've worked at and like it's equally terrible. It's the same exact thing and I hate it so much. It's just like the second I walked in for my orientation, it was like every terrible memory that I'd repressed just like flooded back to me. But it's fine. It's fine. This has been an vlog intro of me just complaining about work. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I finished Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. I finished that this morning. I had to like really work on listening to the last bits just because like it was due today at like noon and I didn't finish it last night, so I was like listening to it this morning before work in like double speed because I was just like, I don't wanna. The wait list on those is just so long that like it would be 2 months before I got it again, and I don't know, but I did finish it. I only had to listen to like half an hour on double speed, but it was good. Like I always forget how much the ending of it makes me uncomfortable, like not because of what happens, it's just because like it's like, you know, this bad thing is coming and it's like, that's fine. I read a lot of books with bad things, but it's just like there are so many things that like if like one person out of like 20 different people had done the common sense thing or like actually thought through their actions, it wouldn't have happened. And like it's just because it's so easy, it would have been so easy to avoid that ending. It makes me cringe. But I did finish that. I do really enjoy that book outside of that. And I started the 6th one, and Jim Dale has some questionable choices, but in the 5th book, he did finally start saying Voldemort instead of Voldemort. So there's something. And his Bellatrix, he gave Bellatrix a French accent, which is weird. Like, I know her last name is French because it's like Lestrange, or it's like fake French or whatever. Her last name is Lestrange, or Lestrange, as he pronounces it, and she has like a very thick French accent, which like, fine, but that's her married last name. Like, her maiden last name is Black, and I feel like she's a very UK witch, because I feel like all the Blacks were narcissists, and I don't know, but it's fine. I do really like his voice for Fudge. He has a cool voice for Fudge. Apart from that, I'm still just working on African love stories and stories I tell on dates. Those are just both like short form. Stories I tell on dates is essays, and then the other is short fiction, short stories. So I'm just working on both of those and reading Autobiography, which I started, and so far I do really enjoy it. I don't know, I'm not very far into that one, so we'll have to see, but I've been reading it on my breaks at work when I get breaks, because breaks are optional. But yeah, I'm just gonna go now and like go home and eat candy because my boyfriend got candy. I like candy. Candy is happy making. So it is the 25th. I've not been vlogging well. I think this is only my 2nd update for this vlog. Work's just been kind of kicking my butt lately. But I didn't want to update and say I haven't read anything. Not for the Owls, at least. I finished Autobiography, which was good, fine, whatever. I gave it 3 stars. And I finished The Lucy Variations, which is yet another Sara Zarr book as I work my way through everything she's ever written. Yeah, read that, both of those. I really like the Lucy Variations. I just love Sara Zarr. I have 2 more books that I'm going to be reading for my Owls. I have 5 left to read, and I already talked about 2 of them that like I'm still working on, the African love stories and stories I tell on dates. for Defense Against the Dark Arts, the prompt is to read a book that's set on the sea or the coast or whatever, and I am reading a middle grade historical fiction diary about Pearl Harbor. The girl lives in Hawaii during Pearl Harbor, and like it's for the Readathon, and because it's set in Hawaii, you know, on the sea, on the coast, it's Hawaii. But good that fits. And then for, oh, what's the other one? I didn't bring my computer over here. Arithmancy? No. Care of Magical Creatures. The prompt is read a book with a creature with a beak on the cover. And I'm going to be reading As Many Nows as I Can Get by Shana Youngdahl. It's a YA contemporary. I downloaded it on my phone. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just one of the ebooks, and I was looking through all the library ebooks, and I was like, I need something that fits for this prompt and has a bird. And it's got like silhouettes of birds and stuff on the cover. So, that counts enough, I think. Other than that, the only one I don't have anything for yet is Arithmancy, and that is to read a book outside of your favorite genre. And it's like, because I only read YA contemporaries via ebook, means I have to read something physically, and I don't know if I'll have time for that, but I don't know. It'll make me a little bit crazy if I don't get all 12 of my owls, but like, it's fine. I have off, today is Saturday, I have off today and tomorrow, and those are my last 2 days off before the owls end, because I'm working Monday through Thursday, so we will see what I can get through. At this point, I'm not entirely sure I'll get all 12, but I am trying. It is the 27th today. Again, not been updating. I'm trying now, as I get more used to like working, because this job is part-time, but it's 40 hours a week, so the joy. I am still reading African love stories. This is like my main project right now that I'm working on quite a bit. Halfway through-ish. I should finish this, like a couple of short stories a day, and I'll have this finished by the end of the month, which is just like my goal. This is like kind of the big thing that I desperately want to have finished by the month, because with short story collections, I have to keep my momentum going, because if I stop reading, it gets to a point where I'm just like, well, it's easier to just not pick it up, because like, you know, you reach a stopping point as soon as you finish the story, so it's easy to like get halfway and then like not pick it up. So that's like what I'm trying to do, is just keep reading this. I'm also almost done with my ebook, which is, I have no idea what it's called. Something About Now. It's by Shana somebody. It's weird. And as I was reading it, I realized that I downloaded 6 audiobooks. I downloaded 6 ebooks from the library, just like random YA contemporaries to like keep me going, because I don't take books into work and I don't read physical books at night, so I read ebooks in those instances, and I get through ebooks fairly quickly because of that. Like, not that I can't read a physical book that quickly as well, but like, I downloaded 6, let's go with that, and all YA contemporaries. And as I was reading this, I realized that like 3 or 4 of them deal with teenage pregnancy, and like, I didn't plan that because I didn't like look up most of these books, but as I was looking them up, like after downloading them, a lot of them deal with teenage pregnancy, so like, my reading might have a theme. Unintentional, not exactly a topic I'm in love with. Like, I definitely don't mind reading books like that. There have been some really good ones, but you know, it's not something that I would actively seek out. Like, I want to read some teen pregnancy books, but I don't know. The one I'm reading right now is fine. It's very non-linear, which like weirdly works for me in this book. It normally doesn't work for me, but it's told in a way where it's like not like a couple of pieces of a story put together and like you have to like piece together what happened in the past and what happens in the future. It's more of like an amalgamation that kind of just like comes together, so it doesn't actually bother me the way it normally would, because I think it actually works fairly well. But it's so overwritten, and I say this like it reminds me of my own writing style, and that's not exactly a compliment, because you know, it's just like so overwritten. Like she'll take some like fancy metaphor and then just like beat it with a stick for 3 paragraphs and just like rephrase it and like talk about it a lot, and it's just like, you don't need to. Just like move on. Like, you don't have to sit here talking about like the metaphor that is time. I think we got it, but like it's not bad. Like I do enjoy it. It says some interesting things. It's just like, I don't know. I still have a bit to go though, so like maybe I'll have like a really good ending that was just like perk me up on the books. It's like currently like 3 borderline 4 stars, and it would be nice to get a few more like 4 stars because I've had so many 3 stars lately. But yeah, that's just pretty much what I've been doing. So last night I did finish As Many Nows as I Can Get, which was the book for magical creatures, Care of Magical Creatures. So I got that, which means I only have 4 books left to read, which is a lot. But one of them, African Love Stories, I'm like almost done with. I'm making good progress on that, so I'm very pleased with that. The Pearl Harbor book, oh, I have it here so I can actually show y'all this time. Son. The Pearl Harbor book is very short. It's very quick, so like this will take me like 2 hours, so also not concerned about that. And I downloaded an ebook. Which ebook? I'm forgetting now. In addition to the Why I Can Denenberg, I was like, I need an ebook for the prompt to read something outside your favorite genre, or just like, I'm taking that to mean outside my comfort zone, because I don't really have like a favorite genre. So I was looking through, and I have a number of Lisa Jackson books, and she writes romantic suspense, which like I don't read. I've never read a romantic suspense book, but I'm down to. Only I don't really have time for a physical book right now, just because I have a couple of other physical books, and I'm going to be reading an audiobook, so I just like I'll do that for that prompt. So I did download a Lisa Jackson book. I looked through the ones I have, and one of the ones that I own is the second in the series. So I just kind of took that one and downloaded the first one so that I can just continue on to the second one whenever I feel like it. So it's not like entirely unproductive. I have The Night Before. That's the one I downloaded from the library that I'll be reading for the, I don't even remember which challenge it is. Arithmancy, maybe? For the read a book outside your favorite genre? Maybe. I don't even remember. But I'll be reading The Night Before by Lisa Jackson. The one I own is The Morning After. So far, I'm like 2 chapters in. Not wonderful, but like we'll see how it goes. And the book I'm honestly like pretty concerned about is Stories I Tell on Dates by Shirley, just because I haven't started that yet, and I don't know if I'll have time. Like, it's fairly short, but like I just have not been reading much, so I don't know. We'll see about that one. But that's for divination, so like if I do miss one, I would prefer it to be divination, like just for like not because like I'm looking at careers and like what's realistic, but I'm kind of treating this as like, if I was at Hogwarts, what classes would I take, you know? And divination is one that I really don't care about, so I'm gonna be sad if I miss it by one, but also like not heartbroken that it's divination. So it is the 30th. Last night I finished African Love Stories, which was good. Like I really enjoyed that. I feel like short story collections are easier for me to rate, or I rate them higher than I would like an average book, because it's like I rate based on enjoyment, and even if there are just a couple of like really good short stories in it, as long as there are like a couple out of 20, it's like worthwhile to me, so I want to give it 4 stars for like that couple. There were a couple that I didn't like, I feel like that's kind of par for the course. There are always going to be a couple that you don't like, and I would say most of them were probably like 3 stars, like fine, which, you know, is again pretty par for the course and average with my reading, but there were enough that it was like really worthwhile and a really good 4 stars, and I'd recommend it. Like, good stories, good writers. There were a couple of writers that I want to look into more just because I really enjoyed them. Doreen Bengala being one of them. She wrote Tropical Fish, the short story, and it was probably my favorite piece of the thing. But yeah, overall, good book. I think I might have actually read the whole thing in school, or at least like skimmed all the stories, because they were all vaguely familiar to me. But now I definitely have read them all, so that's good, and I did enjoy that. And today I am mostly just working on Early Sunday Morning, because this is for the Defense Against the Dark Arts prompt, which I really care about it just because it's Defense Against the Dark Arts, plus it's a short book, so I'll be able to get through it today easily. And my ebook is apparently 900 pages long. Like, not like the book, but like the ebook version. The book version is like 300 pages long, so I don't really understand why the ebook is so much more, because usually it's like, it adds like 100 to 200 pages extra onto the ebook because I read it on my phone. And I don't know, that does like kind of concern me. So this is definitely what I'm gonna get done, and I really don't think I'm gonna get to Stories I Tell on Dates for the divination prompt. So we'll see, but honestly, I'm not super concerned about that. Today is Friday, May 1st, so I am officially wrapping up my Notes Readathon vlog, the second part. This second half of the month was a little bit of, I'm not gonna say failure is such a strong word, but it definitely didn't go as well as the first, so we'll just admit that now. That's fine. I actually wound up finishing 11 out of the 12 OWLs, so I'm pretty pleased with that. A little disappointed that I didn't get to divination, partially because I was excited for the book, and partially just because I wanted to get all 12 owls, and I read more than 12 books this month. It was just not all of them fit a prompt for the owls, so oh well, it is what it is. But yes, yesterday I did finish, I can't reach this book. Yesterday I did finish Early Sunday Morning. Like I said, this was really quick to get through. It's only like 129 pages, and the font and margins is like big, so it was really quick. I did wind up being a little bit disappointed by this one. It wasn't bad by any means. It was just like not as good as the other ones that I've reread in the past like year or two. So I don't know. It was still fine. Like, I understand why I liked it as a kid, but I don't think this one holds up quite as well as some of the others that I have read. So there's that, but it was still fine. I'm still kind of torn between 3 and 4 stars. If I give it 4, I think it'll be a little bit of nostalgia pushing it over the edge there, but you know, nostalgia happens sometimes. And at like 10 p.m. last night, I was about halfway through with The Night Before by Lisa Jackson, and had about another 400 ebook pages left, which I don't know what that translates to in physical books. The ratio is so off. But I realized it wasn't gonna happen. Like, maybe I could have read that before midnight, like reading quickly, being focused, whatever, but I was so tired, and I was like, this is not gonna happen. But I didn't want to give up on my arithmancy OWL, because I do know that arithmancy is kind of an important one for a lot of careers, where divination, like, is not required for anything I was at all vaguely interested in. That was more just like a principle. I wanted all 12, but arithmancy I did want. So the prompt for that was to reread a book that was not your favorite genre, and again, romantic suspense was a pretty good choice for that, because I've only read one of those before. But yeah, so I gave up on the Lisa Jackson book, which I am still reading, don't get me wrong. Like, I will finish that in a few days. It's just, you know, I wasn't going to last night. So I read the first volume of Descender because I gifted my boyfriend all of the Descender books and he really enjoys them. So I read the first one. I don't know, I don't really like graphic novels. Like, I only read this because it was short enough that I could just like get through it. And like, the story was good and interesting, but it did feel very fast paced, and it felt like I really wanted more from it. Like, I wanted it to slow down. It felt like there was a lot of exposition. I don't know. So like, I'm gonna give this 3 stars, but you know, with the caveat that I'm not a graphic novel reader. I've never pretended to be or tried to be a graphic novel reader. I don't know if or when I will continue this series. Definitely not a priority. I didn't love this one. It's just, I think it's just not for me. And I don't know, it was fun to read something that my boyfriend really enjoys though, because this is very much like his kind of thing. I was just a little bit confused and just a little bit like kind of disinterested, I guess, but you know, that's fine. So that concludes a wrap up of the 11 books I read, and the one book I didn't read that I was planning to read was Stories I Tell on Dates by Shirley. And don't let the bookmark fool you. I have not actually started this book. I kept meaning to, but then I was just putting all my focus into African love stories, and I did get through that one, which I'm pleased with, but didn't get to starting this one. So a little bit disappointed by that, but also like not that much. It was fine. Like, the whole process of the owls was fine. It's just, it kind of sucks to miss out by one. But yeah, I do plan on reading this soon. Like, this will probably be the next physical book I read. Well, I have to read Guess because I'm supposed to be reading Buddy Reading That with Carrie Louise. And I haven't even started because I've just been so tired. And I'm also buddy reading something else. But I'll get to this in May, like, for sure. Because I do want to read this. And I was excited when it was picked for, like, this is the book you'll read. I was like, yay, fun. So I do plan on reading this soon. Just, I needed, like, another 3 days of April, I think, to, like, finish everything, but that's fine. 11 Owls is still pretty good. I'm still pretty happy with that. So, you know, the vlogging was not great. The final end push, not great, but overall I think I did a pretty good job. And I'm happy with that. And I did kind of look at the careers just now to see if not getting divination really cut me out of anything I cared about, and it didn't really. Like, obviously it's required for certain things, but none of those careers were careers I was interested in anyway. So I still have a list of like 12 careers that I'd be potentially interested in that range from, like, you know, being a writer, which requires like 4 books, to a metal charmer, which I think requires like 12. But that is something I will be figuring out when the newts come up. I think they're in August. So this concludes my Owls rereadathon. Not rereadathon, my Owls magical readathon vlog, and the whole process was fun. I definitely think in the future I'll be doing more readathons like this, where I just vlog them and choose the TBR as I go, because I really did enjoy it, and it does give me a really good way to actually participate in readathons. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know down below how you did on your Owls.